Hi, my name is Robyn Clemens and I'm going to be doing my presentation for COMN 3315. This presentation is going to be on two separate ad campaigns for the same product, Molson Canadian beer. The first advertisement that I'm going to be talking about is the rant, or better known as the I Am Canadian ad, which was aired in the year 2000. And the second ad I'm going to be talking about is the Made from Canada ad, which aired in 2010 during the Vancouver Olympic Games. So let's take a look at these two ads.
Hey, I'm not a lumberjack or a fur trader, and I don't live in an igloo or eat blubber or own a dog sled. And I don't know Jimmy, Sally, or Susie from Canada, although I'm certain they're really, really nice. I have a prime minister, not a president. I speak English and French, not American, and I pronounce it about, not a boot. I can proudly sew my country's flag on my backpack. I believe in peacekeeping, not policing. Diversity, not assimilation, and that the beaver is a truly proud and noble animal. A toque is a hat, a Chesterfield is a coach, and it is pronounced Z, not Z, Z. Canada is the second largest landmass, the first nation of hockey, and the best part of North America. My name is Joe, and I am Canadian. Thank you.
When you think about Canadians, you might ask yourself, why are we the way we are? Well, the answer is laying right under our feet, literally. Fact is, it's this land that shapes us. There's a reason why we run off the dock instead of tippy-toe in. It's because that water is frozen 6 months a year. And that frozen water brought on a sport that we can call our own. This land is unlike any other. We have more square feet of awesomeness per person than any other nation on Earth. It's why we flock towards lakes, mountains, forests, rivers, and streams. We know we have the best backyard in the world, and we get out there every chance we get. Because it's not just the great outdoors we're chasing, it's freedom. And this place gives it to us at every turn. Here, we're free to chill out, free to unwind, and free to wind up. There's a beer that comes from the same land we let loose on, and it's brewed to be as clean, crisp, and fresh as the country it comes from. So here's to everything this land gives us. Molson Canadian, made from Canada.
So for my analysis, I'm going to start off with the music used in both of these ads. When you hear it, it starts off very quietly, very, softly, and then eventually, it starts getting to the end and it gets more loud and more energetic and everything. And it just brings out all these emotions in people, and it personally gets my heart racing every time it gets to the end of the song. I did some research, and in the rant, it's the pomp circumstance that they used, which is usually used for graduation ceremonies and stuff. But it's a very, I don't even know the word. It's a very epic song, which is then followed by, in the Made from Canada, is the Requiem for a Dream, which is used in a lot of things to, build up suspense, build, excitement, and all these kinds of things. So they were very smart when they used these two musical backgrounds to their advertisements. It also fit well, I think, with the whole theme of Canada, because it's not such a harsh melody. It's not like rock music or anything, but it is, classical kind of music. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the actual content within the advertisement. The rant sort of makes fun of all of these Canadian stereotypes, like a toque is a hat, a Chesterfield is a couch, it's Z, not Z, and all those kinds of things. And the Made from Canada talks more about the whole culture of Canada, and the landscape and all, what makes Canada what it is and what makes Canadians who we are. They both, however, kind of touch upon the culture aspect, but they do it in two different, very, very, very different ways, I think. And I think that's important to note, that you can talk about culture by talking about and denying, or saying that these are just stereotypes, and you can talk about culture by showing how a culture lives and where a culture lives and what they do. The rant never, I found, never really discussed, they never showed that they were selling beer, which was strange because it's a beer commercial. They never once showed a beer bottle. They didn't show a brewery, nothing. There was really no trace of them selling beer. And even at the end where it says, "I am Canadian," you only really see the brand, the Molson brand. You don't see a beer bottle still. But I guess it's a well enough known brand for people to know that, oh, this is a beer commercial. Whereas in the Made from Canada, at the beginning they show hockey players holding beer, and they say like, oh, like, the beer comes from this amazing place, it comes from Canada. And even though they do show it, it's close to the end. So I think they're trying to build up their brand in both, saying that it's a Canadian brand. It's important to know where your beer is coming from. It's coming from a great place. It's coming from Canada. And that I think is what their main point that they're trying to get across. While watching both of these advertisements, I found some patterns emerging. They both show pictures of the landscape of Canada, which Canada is mostly landscape. There's really not too many big urban centers. A lot of it, up north, it's the mountains, and you have the Rocky Mountains, you have a lot of lakes, you have a lot of prairies where we get the wheat for our beer. And this really separates Canadians and Canada from every other country. And it's important, they're just telling us that we're just such a special country. We're so different from everybody else. And no matter what people think of us, we create the best beer. We have the best landscapes. We are the best hockey players, which hockey is very important for Canadians and within these commercials because it's brought up more than twice. For the narrative of the commercials in the rant, the character of Joe is ranting about these stereotypes that Canadians are constantly, have on top of us. And, he's saying like, no, like, these things aren't true. We don't do these things, but we do these things, and we have great beer and all of this stuff. And he's, I think, kind of embracing the stereotypes. He's not being the stereotype, but at the same time, he is. Like, the whole Canadians are polite at the end when the music stops and everyone's quiet. He goes back to the mic and says, "Thank you for listening." I found that a little bit funny, that even though he's, saying, no, this is not the stereotype, but it is. And in the Made from Canada, they show the narratives of what being a Canadian is. We, play hockey, we go ice fishing, we go camping, we go kayaking on our beautiful lakes and rivers, and we go boating. Everything that has to do with nature, that's what Canadians are. We are just nature people. And we love we love Canada. We love just the whole landscape, and we take care of it, and it gives back to us. It gives beer right back to us. And that's what's important about Canada, is that the beer is important. Another thing that I noticed that was important is the colors that are used in both of these advertisements. In the rant, red is a very dominant color. So at the beginning, you see the Canadian flag, which is red. The curtains on the stage are red. So there's a lot of red used, which is a Canadian color. It's in our flag. It's the color of our maple trees. It's just a very dominant color in our culture. And in the Made from Canada, they use very nature type colors because the narrative is about living in nature, enjoying nature, and all this kind of stuff. And because they're talking about all this nature stuff, even the actors are wearing like camp shirts and all this kind of stuff, more like lumberjack type shirts, the plaid shirts, which are in the nature type colors, blending in with the Canadian landscape. Lastly, the emotional appeal that these have, I think, is very is innately in all Canadians. Starting thinking about the music again, how it starts off softly and it starts building up and building up and building up, and you're waiting to that last moment and seeing what's so exciting about this commercial. And it builds up to this. You see all of this stuff about being Canadian and where we live and everything that Canadians do, and you start to think, wow, like being a Canadian is so amazing. We have such a great place to live in. I can't believe that I get to live in such an amazing place. And if I drink this Molson Canadian beer, I'm showing that I'm a proud Canadian. And just on a personal note, I don't even drink beer, but after, continuously watching these commercials and even seeing them on TV, I feel like I should be indulging in this Canadian beer because it is my country made this for me, and that's why I should be drinking it. And that's all I've got to say about these. So thanks for watching, and thanks for a great year.